So there were some reported racist comments or chants directed at Chelsea's Rudiger during a heated game at White Hart Lane against Spurs on Sunday, after the controversial sending off of Son Heung-min. If proven, I hope those responsible will be prosecuted. Football generally and rightly operates a zero-tolerance policy towards such behaviour, and fans found guilty are swiftly banned for life by their respective clubs. Interestingly, footballers found guilty of the same crimes are never given lifetime bans, ever. But Graham Souness and Gary Neville of Sky Sports are not satisfied, and no doubt have never considered this double standard. Instead, they prefer to add to the myth of the racist football fan and ignore the huge improvements in behaviour in the last couple of decades. Souness even put the boot into kick it out, saying the pressure group only come onto the pitch, wave flags and give out t-shirts, or words to that effect. But what do you want them to pressure for, Graham? Compulsory preemptive re-education of all football fans? Flog them, lock them up and throw away the key? You don't say. But you do say you can't remember racist incidents when you were playing. Perhaps that's because Liverpool didn't have a single black player in the first 11, and you were a ruthless hatchet man more interested in kicking opponents up in the air. Well, I can tell you it was 100 times worse then. As a child on the terraces, I well remember the monkey noises every time a black opponent got the ball. I also recall Spurs fans loudly chanting, "Who's that up a tree? It's Cyril, it's Cyril." I remember it even though it must be nearly 40 years ago, because I was shocked and saddened as Cyril Regis was one of my heroes and one of the good guys, and I couldn't understand why he was getting this dog's abuse. This was commonplace then, but somehow it managed to pass Souness by. But now he's a broadcast media lovey. He knows how to play the game. He knows his employers and journalists in general like nothing better than a good racism storm to blow up. And when it comes to apportioning blame and self-righteous virtue signalling, he will not be outdone. Everyone is more racist than he is, and everyone cares less. Of course that's true now it suits you, Graham. Now it suits you in your media career. And rest assured you will be invited back by Sky. And the same applies to you, Gary. Ironically, it was left to the only non-white on the panel, Ashley Cole, to provide a bit more proportion and a bit less hysteria. He admitted he didn't speak out against racism in his playing days, as he thought he wouldn't be taken seriously. This was actually quite a brave admission, in contrast to Souness' incredible claim of unawareness. Cole also acknowledged that many fans go to games to let off steam and often behave in a way they never would in any other scenario. Anyone who goes to football matches regularly will know this to be true, and yet, in spite of the tribalism, the alcohol, the politics of the times, that Cole also alluded to, I can say hand on heart I've not heard a single racist utterance at a football match in over 20 years. And if the likes of Souness and Neville got out of the commentary box and onto the terraces a bit more often, they would surely know this. Even in life outside football, the few times I've heard genuine hateful racist language, it has come from young men of such low intelligence and status that they were almost as worthy of pity as contempt, and yet the media chooses to inflate their power and importance by magnifying their crass but isolated insults into something epic. So the racists win, the media gets the story it wants, while the Sounnesses and Nevilles of the world get to display their moral purity at the expense and reputation of football fans everywhere.